Hi everybody. Um, Been a while. How you been? Welcome to my knitting channel. Today is episode 146. We're just gonna start up like nothing's wrong. So, how are you? Um, Hi, new digs. We moved. Obviously, this is a completely different backdrop. That is, those are my trees. That is the property line of the new property of where I live now. We are on almost 4 acres, and the whole thing is secluded like this, and I love it, and it's fantastic. And I don't ever see my neighbors, so I don't have, you know, dogs, other people's dogs crying, running across the street. Um, it's wonderful here. Like, I can't even. We haven't sold the other house yet. We're still paying both places. Which, try to not ever do that because it just makes your life completely more stressful. And you want to know, this house, we've been here since like just before Thanksgiving, and what is it, March? Oh my God. Our oven does not work. Like, it works, but it has this god awful smell, and we've cleaned it like a dozen times with every different cleaner you can imagine, and it still stinks. So I think we're gonna have to just replace the oven. There's so much wrong in this house. It's just one of those things. I don't know what the heck, but I actually really like living here. I like being here and being secluded. We're in a more rural area. So, we're right near a hospital though, like a big giant hospital. We're right there, like emergency room, 24-hour, like we're right there. But we are in a more rural area. There is a country store. Actually, I think there's two country stores. We're actually in a township. I think we're technically in the township. We're still in Northeast Ohio. But we have a barn. There is a barn. Not for animals, though, but there is a barn. And the whole backyard is fenced in. You can't see, but there is a fence in front of these. Well, in the middle. Well, in front of most of the trees. It's cool because we're situated kind of in the middle of the lot, and then our one neighbor is in front of us, and then our other neighbor is behind us. So literally where I'm sitting, their house is being blocked by my view by our barn. So I can't even see them, and they can't see us except for the barn. So, like, this is the new sunroom. It is, what do you call it? Not like my other sunroom. My other sunroom had no type of heating or cooling. I don't know what that's called. It didn't have the heating or cooling, so it would freeze out there. So if it was really, really cold, I couldn't do my show out there. So this is not like that. This has vents. Can't see any vents. Yeah. There was power in the other one too, but there are there's a vent back there. There's a vent right there in the sun, so you can't see it. This is just a dog bed. So it's like 3 sides of these windows that open, all of them open, and then on the other side there is a sliding glass door. So it's a little different because the last place we had just three sliding glass doors on the back side, and this we have 1, 2, so 3 windows, and then on the other side we have a window right there. Well, that's not the window part. And then on this side we have a sliding glass door, and then there's a little deck right there. So right here there are a bunch of roses that haven't come up yet, so they're like a whole bunch of, I hope to God I can keep them alive. So there we go. I was estimating, I think we have I think we have well over 200 trees on the property, and this is my backyard. So the backyard is fenced in. There is a ginormous pine. I think, are you seeing my ginormous pine? And then behind that is more of our land, and then behind that is a preserve. So it's kind of like a park. They do frisbee golf, I think, or something there. And then the front yard is just as huge. And you can't see the street. There's trees. You can't see the street. We're on one of the major streets. We're like off a major street. So it's I don't know, to be honest. I don't know this area very well. We just moved here. My husband wanted to move to this city, and I was adamant that I did not want to move to this city because it's hard to get anywhere from where you are. You're not like the last place we lived. Remember, I would have to stop for the ambulances because they would get, the highway was right where we were, was the highway, and there was a hospital in either direction. So we're always stopping the chauffeur for that, and we don't have none of that here. It's quiet. It's so quiet here. Like, I was raised in the suburbs. I've never been in like an actual urban city, and I've never been in the country. Total suburbia, malls, strip malls, like, I don't know what you think of, I guess, of America. I don't, like, in most of the teen comedies, they're in the suburbs, right? So that's how I grew up. I never been in the country like this. And I love it. There's so many animals out here. Put like cameras outside. And I seen opossums, raccoons, what you call it, Punxsutawney, groundhog, owl. We heard an owl. There was an owl hooting one night, and my husband called me out. He's like, "You gotta come out. There's an owl." And a cat that looks too nice to be feral, like is in too good of a condition to be feral. So I think it's someone's pet that they just let roam. I have not met any of the neighbors, and we've been here since, like I said, before Thanksgiving, and it's March. It's almost St. Patrick's Day. I sometimes see, there's a family, on Sundays. I see a man and a woman and a 5-year-old. But I don't see them for very long, and they don't make any noise. And then on the other side, not my favorite neighbors because they have certain signs in their yard that like make my blood boil. And they have this weird white van that looks like it's either used for like church activities or like kidnapping. I'm not sure which one. Same diff maybe. Patrick, my husband, has met them. I have not met them. I don't want to meet them now that I've seen theirs. Okay, because when we were looking at this house, there was a sign on the Google Street View, and we were like, "Is this the people that live here now, or is this like a neighbor?" Like we weren't sure where it was, but then by the time we got to come see the house, there was no sign, so they probably took it away so like people wouldn't not want to live here. So anyway, someday I'll tell you the story of the absolute ridiculousness that was getting us in this house. It was absolutely terrible. The previous homeowners were awful to deal with and didn't want to help do anything. It was just really, really, it was, we had to multiple, like, go in and then walk away. Like, we walked away and thought we weren't going to get the house for like a month. Like we were still looking at other houses, and we just could not get over this land. So we had to go back and try to work with sellers that did not want to work with anybody at all. It was really just ridiculous. Anyway, we'll talk about this some other time because I want to get into what I've been working on and stuff, and then at the end I will tell you where I've been, because it's not fun, and I don't want to cry, so we'll do that later. So anyway, did I say welcome to my knitting channel? This is a knitting channel. Start with what I'm wearing. I am wearing, this is called Peaceful Easy Feeling by Lyrical Knits. I think that's an Eagle song, is it? Got a peaceful, easy. I think it's the Eagle. I'm not a big Eagles fan, so I'm not sure. Don't quote me. I mean, I love Don Henley, but he wasn't singing for the Eagles the whole time. Anyway, do you see this gray coming? Okay. All of the blonde is now out of my hair. My hair is now completely my natural colors, which is salt. I got some salt in my pepper. So, anyway, this is my own dyed yarn. This was going to be, I was trying to make it into a dress, and one of my strappy top, I was trying to make it into a dress, but menopause or premenopause, whatever happens to you right before menopause, where you suddenly look pregnant, happened to me. I put on 30 pounds, no change in my diet whatsoever. But that was like over like 10 years. Like something's been happening with my hormones since I turned 35, and no one would believe me. And now I can't get on the hormones because I had a bad mammogram that I'm still waiting to. Even though I read this thing that said it's not connected to breast cancer anymore, but I guess they just err on the side of caution. So I gotta wait till June to have my follow-up mammogram, and then I can go on the HRTs, which I've been trying to get on too. Because this is terrible. Are you going through this? It's awful. Like, your brain doesn't brain anymore, and I'm sweating all the time, and then I'm freezing, and I don't sleep. It's terrible. It's awful. It's really, really awful. It's terrible. But I don't know if you remember, like about 2 years ago, I had a hysterectomy for fibroids. I had uterine fibroids, and I opted to have a hysterectomy because, the whole Dobbs decision that overturned Roe v. Wade, and I was like, I don't want to get stuck having a baby in my 40s. Like, that I know is when a lot of, that would be an accidental pregnancy, and I know a lot of birth defect things it's a risky time to have a baby, and I was like, you're hearing these stories about the women of Texas because they're under a total ban, and I got worried that I didn't want to die accidentally. So when I wanted to get sterilized, but then they found out I had the fibroids, and I was like, oh, good, let's just do that then. So love it, by the way. Cannot recommend it enough if you are sure you don't want to have babies. I love not having my uterus. It's made my life, and I also had endometriosis, they found. So my life has been so much better. My pain is still there, and my LPR is still there. So I'm still dealing with that. I did just find a new doctor, though, so I'm hoping. Anyway, what was I talking about? Peaceful, easy feeling. I modified the pattern a little bit. I made the size 35, and I still changed it because the arm is, do you see how close this is to my armpit? I don't like it. It's too up there. It's very, very up there, and I don't like it. Also, not enough things around here for me, but I got that old lady, like, hanging. We got some hanging skin here, you know what I mean? So I think the ratio for my body is just, my ratio for everything in my body is up, because this is too, not long enough for me. So in my second one, I'm currently working on a second version this is a 35, which is what my actual measurement is. So this fits perfectly. I cropped it and did a little ribbing. So it'd be I just wanted like a boob holder. I wanted a boob holder. And then this is the first sweater I made that actually kind of fit me. But I wanted a little bit more length here. I wanted a little bit bigger here. But here's my problem. What is this? Like, this happens in everything I make. Like, but that's also kind of how my body is. Do you have that lump kind of there too? Like, why though? Like, I don't understand why I can't get a sweater to fit. And then I'm like looking at all the sweaters that people make, and do they just make big sweaters? And so it just kind of is oversized, so you can't tell that it doesn't fit you right. Anyway, I have tons of leftover yarn, so I'm going to pull these all the way back, and I'm going to pick up some extra stitches. Do you do that when you pick up your arms? You pick up when you pick up your underneath stitches, I pick up 2 on either side, and then I come around and I decrease those. So I'm going to pick up the 2 on either side. So it gives me an extra 4 stitches. And then this will probably fit better. But I like the way the front fits. What is this? And how do I eliminate this? Because it's on my other one too. Is that just a raglan? Is that just what happens there? Because I'm like too lazy to try another sleeve because I understand mathematically how this works. And like I finally got one to fit me. Like see the back? It's not down. I hate when you do the back and the back's way down. The back's way down and then you're cold because the wind's getting on your back. I hate that. So this is perfect. I absolutely love where that hits on the back. It looks like I have a hump, but I don't. I promise I don't have a hump on my back. I do yoga, so I don't have a hump. This is like I'm fear getting the hump. My grandmother had a huge hump, and I desperately don't want to be frail when I'm old. So anyway, I'm like obsessed with getting fit correct. This is because I'm wearing a tank top underneath and it's not smoothing out. I'm obsessed with getting the fit right, and I don't know what, like this is perfect in my bust, but right here. Is it just always going to happen? Anyway, this is the neckline. I did sleeves. The sleeves have, the way it's written, they have like a lacy panel sleeve, and it goes all the way down and has a lacy panel, I think, on the bottom. I didn't do that because I bought this pattern because it was tight fitting, and that's the type of fit I wanted, but the ratios were all wrong for my body, so I redid it a bunch of times to find I'm always going for the armhole depth, and this is just a little too. I think it's fine, but for me, I need a little bit more. Like it's right in there. So I don't know. Do you have a sweater that really fits you well, that you feel really? I think I'm gonna have to do the compound, which is where you do them at different areas, different. Like a raglan is where you do all the increases, and then the compound raglan, I think, is when you don't do them at the same time, something like that. But I'm really just working towards what my stitch count needs to be to fit me how I want. This one is superwash, and it is a worsted. It's a DK pattern, but it's on 4 millimeters. And so I had the same gauge. So I was like, I'm just going to make that. Because I search for patterns from my gauge because my gauge is so weird. So I have to rework the math every time to get my row count because my row count's wrong. But I love using a 4 millimeter. I like that is the fabric I like the most on either DK or worsted. I get the same gauge, so it doesn't really matter. I how I like the fabric that I like. Anyway, this is superwash. I have to have shown you, this has to be one of my dye products. I don't know which dye project it was, but I just sprinkled, I did a tonal gray and then I speckled black on it. I dyed this. This is here because I need to know where I'm going to redo the sleeves, and I needed to be able to tell where everything was while I'm working the new sweater. Let's just mosey on over to that. This is a Stephen West bag. Project, is it the 10? It's the biggest one. I think it's 10. Yeah, redesign project. I think this is the 10. I'm not a leather girl either because I don't eat cows. I don't like to eat any animal stuff. I do when I dietarily need it, but I don't like to. And I don't eat cows. So I'm not big on leather, but I gotta tell you, I love this bag. I love how it opens because then you open and your project's just there and it's so easy. So this is the same pattern, but I changed everything, and I also made it a V-neck, and I used Cascade 220 non-superwash. You can't see, it's a V-neck. And I do not like the sleeve I made, so I made this sleeve different, and then I didn't like it either, so now I'm making it again. This is like the fourth, because I did this sleeve twice too. I did this sleeve like twice, yeah, because it's still too short. It was too short the first time, it's too short this time. So this I made, though, I changed to be a 38 because I'm a 35, so I wanted 3 more inches of ease, and then I also made it longer in the armhole, made longer, and then the sleeves, more stitches in the sleeves. And it has a more relaxed fit. It fits like this, but just more relaxed, just a little bit bigger. Which is weird because usually the superwash is bigger than the non-superwash. So like having my non-superwash sweater a little bit bigger. I also have not finished the neck. I did the same thing, I did the same cast on and just redid the math. So this technically isn't that pattern at all. I don't think I even used the same cast on numbers. I don't think I did. I'll have to check because I'm pretty sure I changed it to give more here. I think and plus I changed the cast on because I wasn't doing this. Didn't it cast on like a V? I don't remember how we made this circle. The scoop neck, I think. But I love a V, so we're doing V. Cropped. And this one I did 1x1 twisted rib. This I did 2x2 twisted rib. And I didn't go down needle size for the ribbing because I don't go down needle size if I do twisted because it makes it smaller anyway. And because I like working with the 4mm needles, I don't want to go down to like a 3. My arthritis is not doing it. So I'm almost done with the one sleeve. If that fits, then I'm going to redo the whole other sleeve and then just finish off the neckline. I think it's a knit. It's just a rolled, I think. You knit a couple rounds and then you pick up and then knit a couple rounds. And I did the pickup a couple times and it looks good. I'm usually really bad at picking up stuff, but it's one of those things I wanted to get better at. Now, once I have this fit, I'm going to redo these sleeves. And then I should have the fit. But I'm wondering, do you guys have a thing for this? Or is that just bound to happen? Because I was reading something. I wonder if it was Cieslak. Do you know who I'm talking about? Or it might have been somebody else. It was one of those designers that does the all-inclusive sizes. And it was having you measure your over bust, which is right, not your full bust, but right under your armpits, above your chest. So above your bust, your upper bust, and then you work to that measurement. And then when you get to the bust, depending on your cup set, the difference, you then do short rows like darts. So you come here and you work short rows. I think you use your nipple as a guide. I really think that's it. And you come back, and I don't think you do anything in the center. I'm trying to remember, but I think you do bust like here for the bust darts. But I'm pretty sure I have a pattern that has that in it, but I was not brave enough to use it. I'm trying to recall what it was, and I don't remember. But I'm wondering, will that get rid of because I always think like the casting on under here kind of fills it in, but I guess not. So like, because I have a 3-inch difference. So that's a C, right? Is that a C cup? So not even that large, but it's enough to, it's like wings. Like wings. I feel like it just ruins my sweater. It doesn't though, right? It looks fine, right? Anyway, it doesn't matter. So that is my I've been working on this for a couple of weeks, trying to get the sleeves working. I also have, this is new. This is another Stephen West bag. I can't even tell you what these, this sounds terrible. I can't tell you what these cost because they're in euros and I don't know what the exchange rate. It was more than $100. It's terrible. I can't believe I paid that for a bag. Anyway, this was the burgundy set. Purple. It's called, what did they call it? I don't remember. Not eggplant. What did they call this? Was it eggplant? No, aubergine, which means eggplant in French, I believe. So this is pretty purple. I love purple. So I had to get it. And I just got the same bag because I love that one. And I love, what is this? Oh, that's stuff I haven't cast on yet. I just wanted to show you that I got the other bag. I have both of those. My other whip is fingerless mitts, but I was going through my stash and I was trying to find okay, this I dyed for Go-Go Dynamo, which I haven't showed you yet, but I dyed this for Go-Go Dynamo. And then I have this, which I think is Dream in Color or it's Fight Like a Girl. I'll have everything linked. All the stuff is in there. I've been on a mission, okay? I had a lot of things happen in my family after the last presidential election here in America in November. Lots of stuff exploded here for me. And I have more LGBTQ in my family, and I decided when I moved here that because we are really in Trump country out here, that I want to wear more rainbows. I want to be kind of in your face with the rainbow crap, and not to irritate people, but that's like a side bonus. But I really wanted to show LGBTQIA plus people that they're not alone. So I wanted to wear more rainbows is my goal. I have a plan for a rainbow hat. I had a dream that I wore this rainbow hat. And I was like, that's something stupid little that I can do that will show people, because I've never been one for rainbows, because my sexuality to me is private, and I am in a straight marriage. But it's just never been something that I publicly show. When I grew up in the 90s, okay, I graduated high school in 1995, and rainbows were for very flamboyant gay men, and it was kind of gate kept that you didn't wear the in the scene out here, in the gay scene here, men would get mad at you if you wore rainbows. Not the leather guys were cool, but it was the really obvious, the effeminate, I don't know what to call that type of presenting gay man, but it was all over the place here, and they were so mean. Because I was a goth girl, so the goth community and the gay community were like the same community. In Cleveland, they were the same thing. You had like the fetish balls that were everybody. But back then, in the mid to late 90s, it was gate kept. It was not. That's just how it was here. That's just how it was. So I never wanted to wear rainbows. I never felt the need to wear rainbows, and I didn't feel that it was anybody's business who I liked and whatever. I just didn't care to advertise. So I just never wore rainbows. And now that there are more and more, you hear more and more of these younger kids having hard times with the laws that are happening and the bans and stuff. I just wanted to do a little thing that maybe if you see me, I wear these to the library, and this is the rainbow, and then it has for the Black, Indigenous, and people of color, the brown and black, and then it has the trans pink, blue, and white, and then it goes back into the rainbow, and it just continues. It's enameled on some sort of silver-toned metal. Anyway, this is just the start, because this is the one thing I could do right now was make some eyeglass holders. But I have the rainbow hat and rainbow gloves, which is why I started these gloves, because I'm waiting for the rainbow to get here. And then I also have a rainbow shawl planned. And I just wanted to, I also have rainbow bracelets, but those are like from the Amazon, like some sort of nut from the Amazon. But I just decided I'm going to make it my mission, because I'm old and I can do whatever I want now. I want to just wear more rainbows. Like, is that like something little that I can do out here that might just, I'm trying to, and granted, I don't leave my house very much. Where have I been? I've been to the library and the post office. That's where I've been out here. And I've been to the library twice. But libraries, I always go to the library. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I was just trying to think, like, what can I do in my community to be a little bit, just to a little bit of resistance for those kids. You know what I mean? Maybe it seems stupid. I don't know. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it seems really stupid. But that's my goal. So I got some yarn coming from Mitchell's Creations, which I don't think is it's kind of like a goth rainbow. But I have a plan for a hat, gloves, mitts, fingerless mitts, and a shawl, but I wanted to do the mitts on something else first. And isn't this pink great for, because you know I wear black all the time, right? So this bright green or bright pink with the mohair, and then but the gauge is wrong, so I got to follow a different pattern, but now I know my number, so I'm going to do different construction though, because I only have 50 grams and I don't know how it's going to work. And I have 100 grams of the rainbow coming, and I want those to be longer, kind of bunchier, kind of like the slouchy socks we had in the 80s. Remember when you had slouchy socks and then you would wear 2 different colors, and then on your other foot you would switch the color so the other one was on top and the other one, because you were a weirdo. Anyway, that's my rainbow idea. I'm trying to, so I can't wait for June, when all the indie dyers will have all their rainbows out. So if you have any good rainbow, I'm specifically looking for a self striping that is red. A lot of them are just pink. And I also ordered a speckled, what do you call it? A pastel from Sheepyshire, whatever. That you'll see that next episode, because it's not here yet. They're on the way, but they're not here yet. So I'm trying to think of what I had planned to do with that, and I don't remember. I just was like, oh, rainbow, I want them. But I had this vision of a red, orange, yellow, like these colors. My hats that I make, the double layer hats that I make. I wanted to do that with the whole rainbow. Mostly for someone very dear to me that has, come out in certain ways to me, and I want to be more supportive to all of these kids that I guess I didn't realize were in such trouble. I thought the parents were doing better jobs, and I thought the parents related to me were doing better jobs. So this time away has been hard, y'all. It's been real hard. But I did finish some stuff. Do you want to see what I finished? I'm just going to quickly show you what I finished, because this is getting kind of long. I rewatched my last episode to see what I had been working on back then, just like a year and a half ago. I'm so sorry. This is the burdock shawl by Fox and Folk. And this was done in, what did I do this in? Baracco Ultra Alpaca Black, and then I dyed the bottom purple. This is a huge shawl. It's very, very big, and to be honest, I could have made it even bigger, because it's not even as long as, I think the model was 5'2" or something. So on the model, it looks humongous, but mine did not come out that big. But I'm also 5'6", so I'm 4 inches taller. So maybe that's Brody. That is Chief Martin Brody. Hi, baby. Good boy. Do you remember what I named him after? If I said Chief Martin Brody, you should know who that is. Anyway, I finished this. I was going to finish it on, was it November? I was going to do a 30 to 30. You work for 30 days, 30 minutes a day. You know what I did? I had more than half of this to finish. That's all I had was this perpendicular whatever. Are you okay? I had less than half. I don't even think I was to the middle point yet. Anyway, I sat down and I knocked it out in 4 hours. I just sat down and did it. It was one of those things where you just had to do it. I finished this last January. I have not worn it, not one time. Not one time. Even in the snow, you should see the snow we got out here. It's amazing. But even out here, I've never worn it. Have not worn it one time. Not one time. I should wear it, and I just don't So that's one thing that I did actually show you that I did finish. I'll show you this because I really, really like this. This is a Lion Brand kit, and I'm not one of those, but I saw this. It's crochet. It's a crochet project. I got to show you a crochet project. This is made in the new Woolies DK. I didn't know. I'm not a big fan of Woolies because you know me, I'll just buy wool. But it's like an acrylic wool blend. And this is eggplant and black. I got a color scheme, don't I? Aubergine. Black and eggplant. I don't know the name. It was not in Ravelry, so I don't know the name of it. It might still be on their website. It was gray. The picture was gray. I'll see if I can link it to you when I do the show notes. But it was I think they're triple crochets. Are they doubles? They might be doubles. I don't remember. I did this over this winter. This is probably the first project I did in the new house. And it's so cute. And the fringe actually wear this, which is weird for a non-wool. I have not cut the fringe yet because I'm nervous to cut the fringe. And I haven't really blocked it because I steamed it, but you know, I'm scared to death to steam acrylic. So I got to really block it and then cut I'm terrified to cut yarn. I don't like cutting it. I don't like it. But I thought this stitch was, and I love the ombre effect. What do you call that? Not ombre, because it's two different colors, like a fade, whatever. I like it. Last time we were talking about Geo Gradient, weren't we? And I finished mine. Do you remember how much I loved the Granny Square? I still love these colors. I've never worn this. I wove in all the ends and then never cut them off. I just couldn't bring myself, because I'm afraid it's going to unravel. And plus, I don't really wear rectangle. It's not really a rectangle. What is it? Trapezoid? I don't know what this is, but I don't really wear this shape. But I love it. I love the colors. I love how it came out. I ended up doing the mohair dyer in black. On what should have been the purple one, I did it black. Because there ended up being 3 repeats, not 4 repeats. And so I just did the middle one. Oh, I know. I was going to do that icy lavender with the blue, and it just did not look good together. So I just did black mohair for the reverse stockinette. This, I remember, I absolutely loved this MCal so much. And then I did the black. I think I don't like how this blocked. I think it blocked really tight. Yeah, because I suck at making I-cord bind-offs. And then for last year, Go-Go Dynamo, I didn't cut the ends off this one either. I'm not sure I completely blocked this because I blocked this in the new house, and I don't really have the right setup for a giant blocking shawl because I have a craft room, but nothing is unpacked because we haven't bought furniture because all of our money is in the other house. And we don't know yet if we have to make any repairs to the house, so we haven't been spending money. I mean, we spent some money. We spent money that we had to get us in here. But, so we're still living out of boxes. It's terrible. But here's what I did black that I dyed, obviously. And I had a real hard time picking colors for this one. I ended up using 2 skeins of Wicked Knitta, the Wicked Knitta. It'll be in the show notes because I don't remember offhand what they were. And I had bought these 2 skeins and they looked very, very different on her pictures. And they looked very, very different when I showed them to you in an episode. But to the eye, they looked very, very similar. And so I had planned to do another 2-color All About That Brioche because that is my favorite shawl pattern. But there wasn't enough what do you call it? There wasn't enough contrast between the two. So I was like, well, I can't make that now. So it was just sitting in my stash. So I ended up, I'm trying to think if I did try to dye things and it wasn't working out how I had hoped. Freaking I swear. If there's mohair, it's going to end up in my lip gloss every time. So these are actually two different gray variegations, but they look the same. So I just alternated. One has like yellow and almost yellow and pink, and then the other one is pink and purple. So like the purpley one really had this pink in it. So I did one of the things in the lace, and then I did the other one brioche, because you could do, he always has I don't know why. I do know why, but he always gives people always ask, is there going to be an option for the brioche? Because like people don't want to do brioche. I don't want to do brioche. Is amazing. It's one of my favorite dishes to do. So, but I was like, I was going to flip them, and like, so, because it's one on one side and the other side's opposite. So I was going to flip them, and then I was like, well, I kind of want to see what it looks like with the lace, because I haven't done lace with mohair before, I don't think, and I wanted to see what that looked like. So I did both. I hated this thing. I hated making this. I can't tell you, because it's all modular, and I am not a modular knitter. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But I learned a lot, and of course, so I love it. Glad it's over. Love the colors though, absolutely. Love these. I feel like every single one of these I could just hang up on my wall, and it's a work of art. Anyway, what else we got? Oh, two things I made that I wear all the time. Oh, let's show you this. Where'd that go? Is it here? Oh. So if you remember, a while ago, I made a double, my double layer hat, which is just stockinette. It's like the muscle burrow, but without whatever. I don't have the muscle burrow. I've been using this pinhole cast on 8 stitches, and I make just a plain stockinette hat, and then I close it up at the end. I made the 1898 hat. You've seen this everywhere, right? But what I did is I didn't want ear flaps. I wanted it just straight across the back. I didn't want it to come up and leave my neck open. So I just started the ear flap and didn't stop the ear flap, and then went around until you got rid of the other ear flap. So it's like a helmet. And it keeps your neck warm. And then I put a Latvian braid here. And that's some juniper moon farm or something that I had left over from one of my I did an all about brioche in this cash Aran, and I did this and a what about all about that brioche thing. So I actually had this made into a double layer hat of the cash Aran, and the hat was so heavy. Like the first time I made it was so huge that I had to remake it. And then as I was wearing it, it was like 200 grams. It was so heavy on my head that like it gave me a neck ache from wearing it. I was like, this is too much hat for me. This is too heavy. So I remade it this way, and this is fine because then the top of the hat isn't that heavy, and this is it's just heavy where you need it to be, and it doesn't like hurt me or anything to wear this. You can't see anything. Everything I make is black. What else did I make? Ice cardigan. I made this with Cascade 220 Superwash Grande. They are giant hanks. They're 200 gram hanks, I'm pretty sure. And I bought from Little Knits. They always have these sales, and I can't resist. They send me an email, and I'm like, fine, I'll look. And then I'm like, oh, it's a bag of 5. And I'm like, crap. So It was actually like a dark teal color, but I didn't want that. I have one skein left that I didn't, because I dyed as I went, because I didn't know how much I was going to use. So this is a cardigan with a, it's a bulky cardigan with a shawl collar. It's kind of like the Harvest, which never fit me. I couldn't get it to fit me right. There was something going on with the back that wasn't allowing it to fit me. So this is, I don't know. So I used four 200 grit. So I used 800 grit. It's a very, very heavy sweater. That's also what my other problem is making stuff, is that it's becomes so heavy that, like, do you even want to wear it? Because it's wool, right? But, like, is that why people make so much stuff in acrylic? Because it's, you get so much more yardage for the weight? I don't know. This is the Edgar Slipover. I made it with Baracco Ultra Wool Chunky that I had, and I used 400 grams. I had 4 balls. It's, who's this by? This is a paid pattern. I wear this a lot, which is hilarious. I call it my smock because I look like I'm ringing out a register somewhere. But I really got it to wear over my cropped things, so it covers my belly and I can be a bit warmer. This is by Joanna Garish. Is she someone? What hobby website? Colibri by Joanna on Ravelry. Here's a picture of it, so you'll be able to see it. It's got the doubled over thing, the doubled over V-neck. I got this one because it is V-neck. Doubled over V-neck, and then the shaping is twisted rib. Which I wish they would specify if it's half twisted rib or full twisted rib, or even if you call it double twisted rib, because some people only twist the pearls and some people only twist the knits. And I have to twist the pearls because my pearls are looser, so I have to twist the pearls. Unless I twist both, in which case I usually twist both because I really like it. This pills terribly. So did this one I just showed you, the Grande. They both pill terribly. Pill. Oh, I didn't even do the double thing. I didn't. I just did I didn't even double it, probably because I hate that. And I had it split. I did the split hem, and it made my fake pregnant belly look terrible. So I undid the split, and now it hides my belly just fine. That's what I've been working on. So if you want to stay, I will tell you where I've been. I will trigger warn you that there is a lot of pet loss in my story ahead. So if I can take you back about 2 years ago in February, I had hysterectomy, like I said, due to fibroids. And it was a really hard decision for me to do that. I was terrified of surgery, number one. And two, I didn't realize losing my uterus was going to affect me so much. As a child-free woman by choice, I never tried to have a baby. I didn't want to have a baby. Being pregnant seemed terrifying to me. I did not want. I also was the oldest daughter in an abusive, dysfunctional family. So the story is, losing my uterus was way more emotional than I thought it was going to be. And then while I was healing from a surgery that I was deathly terrified to have, because I'm terrified of surgery, and it was laparoscopic. It wasn't even like, they didn't cut me open, they poked some holes in me, that's all. And I wanted it very much, but I was still terrified of it. While I was healing from that, not even like a month, my dog died. You remember Deckard? We lost Deckard to lymphoma, and he got diagnosed, and then he was gone within 5 days. And that wrecked me. It wrecked me. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of it, and it still hurts me because I love that dog. I love all my dogs, but some dogs are special, and he was a special dog. And then that was March. In June, our other dog, Ripley, developed a tumor on her arm, and it came back as cancer on 4th of July. The day before 4th of July, we got the call that it was cancer. And there's nothing we could do. They couldn't figure out what type of cancer it was, and she was so anxious. She didn't like getting in the car. She didn't like leaving the house, so I was like, there's no way. One of the cancers she had, I think, was treatable, and the other one wasn't. And then there was a third option that it was just on her leg, and it wasn't going to be anything. And we were kind of like, fingers crossed it's that one. And it didn't come back. So it was either you got it all, it was going to come back, or it was going to come back internally. That's what it was. So from June, from June, because we were like, this is June we found it. Then July, the biopsy came back. I'm pretty sure it had to be the end of June then, because we got her in right away. So I remember I got the call right before 4th of July. And then it was, wait 6 months, and we'll give her an x-ray. And we were going to be living our lives for 6 months at a time. And we didn't even make it to 6 months because when was I last saw you in October, because it was MCAL, so it was right before Clue 3, so it was October. And right before, anyway, before that, October 7th happened. Remember when Hamas attacked Israel and all those people were taken, and the world just exploded in hatred, and it was terrible. And we still have Ukraine going on, so the world was terrible. And just how I am, I'm overly affected by everything around me. And then remember the Stephen West thing, where all that hate exploded over the thing, and he pulled down the Clue, and people were like putting it up anyway and being like, I'm going to make it anyway. And I was like, the entire world felt unsafe, and then the knitting community felt unsafe for me because there's felt so much hate everywhere. And so I decided to pull away at that point. And then I kept being like, I'll come back. But the world was just crazy. And then right before Thanksgiving, it was literally the day before Thanksgiving, 2 days before Thanksgiving, Rippy fell. She got real sick and she fell outside. And I was not awake for my husband, because he would get up with her in the morning and they would go for a walk, and she fell over and couldn't get up. And so we took her in that day. She recovered. I think he said it was like she had a seizure or something, but it was really weird. And so we took her in that day, and he took her alone. I stayed with everyone else because I don't know why. I just stayed because it's hard to get everyone put away and then both of us go. It's like a debacle. So he went in with her, and I don't know what we thought it was, but we thought it wasn't serious because she was fine. And he's like, they're taking me back to the room again. And I'm like, I'm having flashbacks of Deckard because he was alone with Deckard. When, none of us thought it. I don't think either of us thought it was her cancer because it wasn't anything and they were like, her cancer's back. And he was gonna, they could have just put her down right there, because what happened is she had a tumor on her, was it on her pancreas? And if it burst, that was going to be a really, really bad time for her. It was going to be really, really painful. Hey. And there was nothing we could do about it. They're allowed to be there. They live there. Oh, groundhog. Yeah. I see it. Yes, that's the groundhog. There he be. Yes. So like in this part of the yard, because it's spring, that nothing's grown yet. So we can see him in what must be covered. But you can clearly see him. Yeah, that's groundhog. Anyway, we couldn't just let it go, because if the tumor ruptured her pancreas, that was going to be a really painful way to die. And I desperately wanted to be with her in her last moments, so I asked him to bring her home. And we'd keep her overnight, and then we'd bring her back the next day. So that's what we did. And I, to this day, still feel really selfish for doing that. And I always err on the side of euthanizing too early than because I don't want it to go too late. And if you remember, Ripley was kind of a service dog for me, even as messed up as she was. We were so messed up together. We called her my accidental autism dog, because I accidentally made her an autism dog. I think she used to wake me up because I had to stop sleeping in the bed with everyone at night. Number one, because I have pain and I don't sleep. So I'm up, and sometimes I gotta walk, and sometimes I have to have the TV on. Like sometimes I just can't. So I stopped, but she used to wake me up every night. And I have PTSD, so I have chronic nightmares. I have nightmares. I've actually just started keeping track. I have nightmares. For the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 nightmares a week where I wake up sweaty and, terrified. And I think that's why she woke me up at night. I think she knew I was having nightmares, and she woke me up out of them, because I used to wake her up out of nightmares during the day. You've seen your dog have nightmares, right? Where they start crying, and she would shake and cry. And so I would just like get behind her and hold her, and she would wake up, and she would be like, "Hey, Mom," So I think because I did that, she recognized that I was having nightmares, and I would always open my eye and there's her face right there, and she would be like, "Hey, are you awake?" And I was like, "Your dog keeps waking me up." But I think there's a reason she was doing it. Anyway, so that was November. That was right before Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving and Christmas are always triggers for me because of all the family stuff and those were not good times in my childhood. Thanksgiving, Christmas were really, really horrible times for us because it was forced family time, which was terrible. So after that, I was still like tender from everything, from my surgery. I hadn't fully healed from my surgery. It took me forever to get over that surgery. It was because I have fibromyalgia too, so it was a really long road of healing to where my incisions finally stopped hurting and stopped itching. And I mean, now I'm fine, but that first year was really, really hard. So surgery, Deckard, Rippy's cancer, then Rippy's death, like very sudden again. And then in January, so I get through Thanksgiving, I get through Christmas. In January, Tormund got sick. And if you remember Tormund, Giant's Bane, love of my life, my orange and white cat that I had from, 10 days old? He was the only litter. I bottle-fed orphaned kittens, and he was the only survivor of a litter of 5. And I bonded with him so much. He should have died. And I pulled out every trick I had, and because they didn't want to take him he was too little to go to the vet, because they can't. I don't know if people know this, but if the kittens are too small, the vets don't know what to do with them. They don't have any idea. They can't. There's nothing sometimes I think he had a systemic infection. And a lot of times they will give kittens Clavamox. And I'll tell you right now, I've never had a kitten that took Clavamox and lived. And I'm talking from just born to 10 days old. That's the type of age of kittens. I'm telling you, I would get kittens just born. I would get kittens before their eyes were open. Kittens that had been orphaned either by the mom gets hurt, the mom's gone, the mom runs off. Some of them were ferals that they just stumbled upon. He was a litter of ferals that just a lady, the colony caretaker, just stumbled upon and found them all in a pile, covered in fleas. And so I recognized a few of his symptoms that I could treat myself. And I put him on doxycycline instead of Clavamox, which is better tolerated in my experience in such small kittens. And he actually improved. He developed a secondary skin infection from the coccidia he had that I was also treating. That boy went through so much, and he purred every time I picked up. From the second she handed him to me, that boy was purring. And that's what she said. She said, he's always purring. And he was just this tiny little baby that shouldn't have lived. And I got him to pull through. And it was like 3 days of him not gaining weight. He wasn't losing weight. I was holding him steady, because losing weight for kittens is a death sentence. They will die. They have to gain half an ounce every day. That's how you know they're healthy, half an ounce every day. And from their weight, you know how much to feed them. And it's a whole science. There's a lot of math involved. So I had him on this regimen. I called up 2 of my friends that also bottle fed, the person who taught me and another friend who was also experienced, and we went through and made a plan. And for 3 days he did not lose weight. And then on the 4th day he started gaining, and then and I was like, I think rather would see. Oh, and he had both eyes were infected. They were sealed shut, full of pus. And that boy still purred for me. And so since he was the only one in the litter, he was with me all the time. And then when it came time, when he had weaned, I didn't want to give him up. I was like, I don't want to give him up. So long story short, we ended up keeping him. Anyway, he was like that pet that is part of your soul that you swear. I would swear to you that I gave birth to him. I would swear to you that he grew in my belly. I would swear that to you. That's how I felt about this cat. It's how I felt about my nephews. I was there for their whole pregnancies, and those kids are they feel like they're my kids. I don't know how to explain that. I know I'm not their mother, but they feel like they're my child. So maybe more like a dad feeling. I don't know. But I felt like this cat came from me. And I've never felt that way about a cat before. We had cats growing up, but they were not like cats that I have now, because my home life was so chaotic when I was younger that the cats were not normal cats. They were very not nice cats. They were not happy cats. And I didn't know that because I didn't know there was anything wrong with my home life growing up. I thought it was normal. Anyway, my life now is very peaceful, as you can tell. I have 3 dogs in here. No one's fighting. There's no fights. Everyone's sleeping in a pile together. It's ridiculous how my life is now. But anyway, Tormund got sick. But I took him to the vet. They couldn't find nothing, and they were like, it's probably just IBS. So we made changes to his diet. I was giving him that Fortiflora. What is it? Whatever it is, super expensive, like $30 for the little sachets of. Then come to find out, Amazon had been sending me counterfeit, which is why he stopped eating it. I was so mad when I found that, and I found that out after he had died, that they refunded me because they found out it was counterfeit. I was so mad. But it didn't matter because he ended up not having IBS anyway. And then it wasn't until June. So from January to June, I'm going through this with him, and he's just getting steadily worse. And we're changing diets, we're doing supplement, we're doing all these different things. And he's not getting better. And then one day I wake up and there's just blood everywhere. And I'm like, what? And it was a Sunday. And it was the Sunday, the day before he was to go in for his yearly exam, which I was going to like do some testing and be like, we need to get to the bottom because whatever we're doing is not working. And I thought that was too long to go. But we hadn't seen my preferred doctor at this place. We had seen somebody else, which is my first mistake. It doesn't matter because he couldn't have been saved anyway. So we go take him to emergency. And the lady calls me, because remember, this is like COVID and so you still can't go places. And you got to be masked up and then they don't want you there. So she calls me, we're at home. And she goes, he has a tumor in his colon. And I'm like, what do you mean? He has a tumor in his colon. What does that mean? Oh, first he got out and bit somebody and they lost him. And I was like, that cat does not bite. He has never once bit me. And I handle him like you would not believe. So I'm like, if he's going to bite, he had to growl beforehand. He had to give ample warning that he was going to bite. He didn't even break skin. So I don't know why they were so mad at me. But like, it was like a moral failing. I was like, that cat has been bottle raised for his entire life. He loves people. He loves being handled. I could hold him like a baby and give him like liquid medicine out of a syringe, and he would sit there and the grossest tasting stuff, and he would take it and purr the whole time. Like, that cat was not. I think they were prodding, like poking him and prodding him, and he had had enough. Especially if you had your hands up his butthole. So anyway, she was like, there's no treatment, there's no cure. This is it. Nothing can be done. And I was devastated. I was just can't even, like, he wasn't even 5. And I feel like a cat is a bigger, not obligation. Every animal that comes into my home, they get a promise that you will be with me until your last breath, and I will be there holding you during your last breath. You will never be cold. You will never be hungry. You will never be abandoned ever again. That is the promise I make to every animal that comes into my house. That is why I ask every person that adopts from me, I will take this animal back, no questions asked. Call me up. I will meet you. I don't care. That is the promise I make because I save animals. That's what I do. I save them. And so when we kept Tormy, I didn't make that promise to everyone that adopted the cats because that is well over 300 cats that I have saved. And I don't ever see, once they're weaned, I never see them again. They're gone. I hardly get updated on them ever. And I couldn't bear to send Tormy away like that and never know what happened to him. And knowing that he only made it 5 years, I'm glad that I got to have that all of his entire life, except for 10 days, was with me. He was mine. Anyway, so I go pick him up, and the next day we go see my vet. And I had them email the stuff over to her. And so she knew before we even walked in, she knew what was going up. So I said, is it today? Like, do I have to let go of him today? Like, because I didn't know what was happening. And she said, he's not that sick. We can do hospice. And I'd never done hospice before. I never had. Like, Decker got sick. We were totally prepared. And then he was gone in 5 days. And Rippy had no symptoms again until she was gone the next day. So she said, you probably have a month. You probably have 30 days. And he made it like 63 days. He wasn't the same. He had stopped playing, stopped cuddling with Bree. he wasn't playful anymore. And so something happened with the two of them. I don't know if you remember, they were like best friends, and they were a family. They loved each other. And so it was hard on her. I think she didn't understand what was happening. And then, so every week I had to take him in for these B12 shots. And he was on steroids. And every morning I kind of held my breath because they would be out in the sunroom overnight. And so plus it was summer, so they had a great time. So I'd hold my breath to be like, how much blood is out there today? And is he even going to be alive? Like, is he, because I know cats hide it. I know cats hide their pain and illness better than dogs. So I did not know what to expect. And it was like 63 days. And that day he was different. I had been up and he hadn't slept. And I know he hadn't slept. Because I had been up with my LPR and he hadn't slept either. And that was weird for him because he would always go out and sleep. And he was hiding that day. And he wasn't himself. So I called the vet because she was kind of like on call for me. And I called her, or I might have texted her and said, I think today's the day. When can we come in? And she gave us a time to come in, and we came in, and she's great because she gives them like a sedative before. And he had been so tired that he just conked right out. And which was great because like the whole time he was sick, like that last 63 days, I didn't hug him. I didn't pressure him to cuddle with me because he very obviously did not want to be touched or anything. So I just let him be. And I was like, I'm going to cover you with kisses I'll just wait till you're dead. Like when you're dead, you can't, argue with me. And I'll do it then. And my vet is so great. And my husband is so great that was one of the most like easy and emotional and peaceful goodbyes I've ever had with an animal. It was just, we took him out of the crate because he loves his crate. So we took him out on a blanket and she gave him the sedative, and it takes a few minutes for it to work. And he just started crawling to me, and you like sit down and then there's a counter. So I'm sitting and the counter's like this high. So it was like perfect height that he could come over, and he went right into my armpit. And I was holding him up, his head up against me. And I had my arm over him. And he was just purring. And I was just petting him. And then when he fell asleep, I started kissing him. And we shaved some fur off under his arms. And sorry. And that day broke me. And then all of this time, I'm still dealing with Lola, my Chihuahua, who's now 15 years old and has had dementia for, 3 years. I don't know how long. A long time. Since before the last episode, I told you, I seen you. Because in the last episode, I was telling you how hard her having dementia was. So, like, in that span of February, that whole year, back around to August, which is really hard. And then last year, which is the same year that he got sick in January, we decided we were going to move. So I stopped fostering. I haven't been fostering. We stopped everything so we could get the house ready, find a house, buy a house, fix up the old house, sell the old house. So right now we're at selling the old house. We're going to meet our realtor on Friday and put the lockbox on and see if we're ready to go there. So I think after losing all of the babies, I couldn't stand to be there anymore with all the memories, and everything in our family just changed. And it was hard to lose everybody. And just the composition, like our family changed. Our family was just different. And I got this guy who's always in a diaper because he won't stop peeing everywhere, Brody. And Pops was my foster that nobody wanted, so we ended up keeping him. And I don't know if I told you that before, but I named him Pops. I named him Pops from Terminator Genesis. Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator in that movie is named Pops. We have another dog because I was stupid. And Deckard and Ripley were technically my husband's dogs. I mean, I got both of them, but they were his. He took care of the bigs, and I took care of the littles, and I took care of the fosters and the cats. So he really took care of the big dogs. I can't carry big dogs. He would feed them, walk them, whatever. They were his thing, and they just hung out with me while he was at work. That's basically how it went. And so I know he was really missing Rippy and Deckard and not having a dog. And Brody really liked being a dog, but he was like, I can't walk this dog. He's a little dog. He doesn't like little dogs. He just doesn't, which is valid. That's fine. I'm not too keen on big dogs. So one day, the local dog shelter had this picture up of this gremlin, and they were like, real friendly or something like that. And I was like, what do you mean? Oh my God, is it really almost 4 o'clock? Like, what do you mean real friendly? So we went and saw her, and then we adopted her. And I have to have a picture of her face. Here's her face. Her name is Anuk Cinnamon from the Mummy franchise with Brendan Fraser. You know, the one that battles Rachel Weisz. Because she looks Egyptian to me. And I was like, we always name from movies we just do. Like Deckard and Ripley were from, what's his name? Ridley Scott movies or something like that. Because Deckard was from Blade Runner and Ellen Ripley is from Aliens. So we just name Chief Martin Brody is from Jaws, Pops is from Terminator. So Anuk Cinnamon is from, we call her Anuk, Knuckles, Velociraptor, Gremlin, Feral Gremlin. Those are like all of her names. I think there might be more names. Anyway. Oh, she's staring out the window in the front yard. We have a big giant picture window in the front of the house, just like we did in the old house. Big giant window. And you just see the front yard. And the driveway is lined with pines. There's pine trees freaking everywhere. It's awesome. And then you can see all the front yard is just as big as the backyard. I don't know which one's bigger. You cannot see the road. It's completely treed. You cannot see anything. And it takes me like, I think 2 minutes to walk down to the it might take me more. It might take me like 2.5 minutes to drive to walk down to the mailbox. It's very far away. I'll take you on a thing maybe someday. But yeah, it's amazing out here. I love it. I feel so peaceful here. There's no one to bother me. There's no one looking in here. It's great. I feel like I'm healing from that horrible 1.5 years of losing everyone. And I know Lola's just, I know we're rapidly approaching her end because we're having trouble getting her to eat now. Just the Alzheimer's is just, I don't think she knows who I am, but she is constantly looking for me. And if she doesn't know where I am, she will just walk looking for me. She's sleeping right now next to Pops. So if I can keep them with her, she's okay. We have turkey vultures. That's a crow you're hearing right now, if you can hear it. But we have 2 turkey vultures out here that I've seen with their red, weird, skeleton-looking heads. They're like red, and then they have this big white beak. They're freaky looking, and I love them. Which means they're no threat to my little dogs, although we are getting something with a cover for them to go outside. So they're safe because it's very open, and I don't know if they're hawks. With there being a preserve right there, I know you can't hunt there because there's a lot of hunting places, because we're in the country. We're in legit country. We're in a township. Legit country. That was the hawk, because the shadow on the ground is humongous. Anyway, it's like an hour and a half. I gotta get out of here because I have therapy online in half an hour, and I gotta be ready. So anyway, I have no idea what my plan is for this channel right now. I'm still planning my projects like normal, as usual. Planning my projects. I'm hoping to finish the crop sweater by the end of this month because I have another project next month. And I want to do all those rainbow things. I don't think I'm going to be seeing you every week. I think I will see you every other week. So maybe 2 weeks, maybe every 2 weeks might be, but we'll see how I feel. If I feel like next week, then I'll just do next week, but I'm moving slower since we moved here, and I don't have as much anxiety, I think. And I'm just moving slower, and I've been focusing on my health and like taking vitamins, doing yoga, walking, trying to get my health together, trying to... Obviously, I'm not going to cure everything that's wrong with me because I have chronic illnesses that don't have cures. But I need some, what's the word? Not relief. I just need things to get better a little bit. You know, I need things to get a little bit better. Like, I need some improvement. I don't need a cure. I need some improvement. Plus I want to do some outside stuff once the snow stops. You see the snow here, it's gorgeous. Anyway, that's all for today. Since editing, this is going to be a nightmare because I don't remember how to use the editing software. Good job. I do have my experiments. If you remember the experiments I was doing, I finished them and I have a lot of information. So maybe that'll be next episode will be the experiments. So anyway, I hope you're back. Welcome back. I hope you'll stay. I think I'm ready to come back now. I think I'm healed enough, and I'm sorry that I left with... No, I did reach out to my one fan, and I told them what happened. Anyway, take care of yourselves. I'll see you next time. It won't be that long, I promise. Okay, bye-bye.